is practice number 6, thermoforming plastics, and we're conformed by Andrea Cobian, Andrea Patiño, Linda Meneses, and Mariana Soto.
The objectives are the following ones. Know the operation and main characteristics of the thermoforming machine of plastics, fit and calibrate the part to be thermoformed, and perform the thermoforming process and determine the parameters to be adjusted.
It is important to know that any kind of solid material can be thermoformed, except the foam because it is a thermoset, so it can get burned. First, the teacher taught us how to turn on the machine, and he said that it was important to always start with a temperature of 0 degrees and then to increase it to 100. When the machine starts to get hot, our material will start to get deformed, and in this case we used PET. The material is heated using resistances. Once our temperature is of 100, we increase it from 20 to 20. For the type of material that we used in our practice, it was PET and it had a thickness of 3 millimeters. We increased the temperature till 180. The maximum temperature that we could use in the thermoforming machine is about 240 degrees. At 180 degrees, we could see how the material is getting down, and then we can proceed to give it a shape. And when the machine sucks the plastic, we need to cool it, and then we can remove the plastic with the form we wanted.
Thermoforming machines are very important because you have to be aware that you are putting a temperature to thermoform the piece of PET, so you have to start at 0 degrees. This is very important because if you start 100 degrees, it will be changing your outcome, so you have to be very careful and check that you are starting at 0 degrees, and then you're increasing the temperature little by little till you get the PET losing its hardness. Then you can thermoform it really quickly, and this process is very easy and very quickly, so you have to be aware that you're doing it right. Placing a piece in the thermoforming machine, first of all, you have to be aware that the PET has a length of 57 and 77 because it is a perfect fit for the machine, and if you put any piece larger or even shorter, you will have problems with the machine. So it's very important the length of the PET, and then you have to be very careful when you put it. It has to fit very well, and just before that, you have to take the plastic off the PET, and that will be how you put it in the machine.
In the practice, we use PET, that is a thermoplastic, and its characteristics are the following ones: good behavior against permanent efforts, high wear resistant, good chemical resistant, good thermal properties, crystallinity and transparency, very good barrier to CO2 and moisture, compatible with other barriers materials that improve the quality barrier of the containers and therefore allow their use in specific markets, fully recyclable, approved for use in products that must be in contact with food products, hardness, extremely resistant to permanent efforts, surface, varnish stable, very good electrical and dielectrical characteristics, high resistance to chemical agents and stability to the elements, fireproof properties and additive types, high resistance to folding and low moisture absorption make it very suitable for the manufacture of fibers. The bed is mainly used in packaging for beverage, cosmetics, medicines, food, oils, clean products, personal cleanliness, among others, and is also used as textile fiber, plastic wood, strips, sheets, products, or industrial parts.
No defects in the thermoform pieces. The only inconvenience that we found was that some pieces were adhered to the bed sheet, so we used a tool to remove them.
Our thermoforming machine was composed with an oven at the top of the machine. Then we have heat shields at the sides, and then we have a platen, which is like a piece with a lot of small pieces so the plastic can go through it, and that's where we put our plastic sheet. And then we have our control panel. That's where we control the temperature and all the things we want to modify. We have down inside, we have our pump value, vacuum pump, vacuum tank. And then we have the lift handle so we can turn it up and down and get our pieces out. The importance of thermoforming development in Mexico is the challenge of raising the level of investment we have to research to do our thermoforming processes. More than 90% of the tools used in the design and manufacture of the plastic molds in Mexico are imported. Once there is a shortage of technicians in this area. In the country, there are about 100 companies dedicated to thermoforming. However, only 20% of them have survived more than 10 years and have become renowned companies competing in the market with quality products. In my conclusion, I learned that in order to thermoform any product, sometimes we need to put oil on the tool we want to make the form from it, so it doesn't stick and we doesn't have to use the air compressor to get it out and it doesn't break our product.
In this practice, I learned that it's important and necessary to follow the sizes and measurements of the plastic sheets to be thermoformed so we could have a good finish in our pieces and they could fit in.
My conclusion about thermoforming is that the process itself stays the same for thick sheets than for thin sheets, but the only thing that can change is the molding and the trimming. Also, I learned that thermoforming molds should be temperature controlled to get the result we want.
To use the thermoforming machine in the right way. I know that now I am capable of doing it by myself and thermoforming every piece that I want. Also, I learned that the heating is the most important thing of this procedure, so you have to be very careful.